Blessed be everyone. Welcome to another Facebook Live from the Mystery Witch School. There seemed to be some Mercury retrograde stuff happening today. So, for some reason, the live that I'd planned with the links and everything didn't happen. So, welcome to Mercury retrograde. Love it. Not. Anyway, today's topic is on do you have to believe in magic for it to work? Because that's a really good topic. So, I thought I'd talk about it. As nobody has got my link yet, I will just wait until people come on who may find it randomly. It might be a quiet one today. Welcome to those of you watching the replay. If you want to know more about Wicca and witchcraft, shadow work and tarot, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so that you don't miss any videos. If you want to know more about how you can start your witchcraft practice, but you just don't know where to begin because there's so much to know, and there's so many different books and all of the books have different things in them, and it is hard to get going. So I have a free video. It's called How to Start Your Witchcraft Practice. The link is in the description field below this video. And if you want to know how you can learn Wicca and witchcraft with me, I will let you know how you can do that at the end of the video. I do have many courses on witchcraft. I have a course on witchcraft. I have a course on daily practice. There is also courses on shadow work, and soon there will be a course on tarot as well. So I'm looking forward to that too. So welcome to those of you who are joining the live. If you want to say hello, please say hello in the chat. If you want to just say hello in the comments, if you're watching the replay, do that as well. Magic is the topic of the day, so I'm just going to get straight into the topic so that it won't be a long live today, because I don't necessarily want it to be a long one either. So one of the things that I've heard around the place, and you've probably seen it too, where they say you have to believe in magic for it to happen. And quite frankly, that's not actually true. You don't actually need to believe in magic for it to work. Hi, Lewis. It's not so much the magic you have to believe in. It's more in the experiential aspect of magic. It's been I think a long time since people have really been able to understand what magic actually is, and we've had uh, a lot of you could say old wives' tales about magic and myths about magic. We certainly get a lot of those myths coming out in television and movies and even fairy tales. And so magic often is seen as being something that if you don't believe in magic, therefore it won't happen. And of course, that means that skeptics like to come in and say that, well, magic doesn't exist because it's just what you believe. But it's not true. Magic exists, of course, whether you believe it does or not. That is the truth. It's just that you don't need to believe in it in order for it to work for you. We are very familiar these days, I think, particularly in the more mystical new age communities and magical communities, spiritual communities, of the more modern term of magic called the law of attraction, or people who follow maybe Neville Goddard's work, the law of assumption, where you've got a lot of people now, even in mainstream, who aren't magicians or witches or anything oriented that way, who have vision boards and are doing all of these processes that they may have read about through law of attraction books or through Esther Hicks's books or YouTube videos, which are just everywhere on law of attraction. And so there's a lot of magic's really come back into the mainstream, but under a different name. And even within that, there's this sense that you've got to believe in it in order for it to happen. So we get caught up in the belief thing. And that isn't where the belief kind of needs to be. It's not so much about believing in something, and it's not so much about even visualizing something or imagining something. It's more to do with us experiencing the wish fulfilled, which is using the language of Neville Goddard. That wish fulfilled, the moment of experiencing what it is that we're doing the magic for. So if we're doing a spell for a new car, for example, hi Tracy, finally here. That's good. Yeah, I've had some Mercury retrograde issues today. Uh, so feeling into what it's like to drive that new car. What does it feel like? What does it smell like? How does it feel on an emotional level to sit in a car that you want to sit in? And even if you don't necessarily care so much about, having to have a special type of car, it's just you want a car simply for the convenience of having one or the practicality of having one. It's still imagining that you are in a car of choice that you are going to feel comfortable in and you are going to like to drive. So it's not about just using your imagination to see the car and imagine the car, because that can be projecting into the future. And you want the magic to bring that to you now. So it's about feeling into the make believe of being in that car right here, right now, when you're doing that spell. And through putting yourself in that feeling of already being in that car and driving it, it's giving you an emotional feeling. And it actually causes your subconscious mind to start to believe that it's already happening. And it's that belief, it's the belief of the subconscious mind that your wish fulfilled is already happening. That is the magic that brings the wish fulfilled to you. I've heard many people in non magical communities talk about how it's like magic. The magic is already there. What you want is already there. It's just like you've got to reach in and grab it. You've got to become aware that it's there. And as a result of that, becoming aware that it's already there, you become it and it becomes you. It becomes a part of your reality. Rather than wishing for it in the future or seeing it as being in your future, you're experiencing it in the now while you're doing the spell. And whenever you think of the spell, which inevitably happens, even though we say it's best to let it go and forget about it so that you're not attached to it, whenever you do think of not so much the spell, but you think of the thing or the event or whatever it is that you're wanting to bring into your life, the you go into that feeling as if this is what it feels like to have it, and that's where the belief is. It's the subconscious mind believing it's already happening, not so much the conscious mind believing it. And that's where the belief of magic really is. So when it comes to magic itself, you don't have to believe in magic. You don't even have to believe in the law of attraction. You don't have to believe in all the other names, law of assumption or manifestation or whatever else anybody else wants to call it. It's just simply being in the wish fulfilled and your subconscious mind believing it's already happening. And there's a lot of amazing things that happen when your subconscious mind comes on board with your magic. And I'll just read some comments before I go on to what that is. Hi, Sandra. It's Vicky from Adelaide. Awesome. Have to believe in the work. If you don't, it won't work. Intention and belief are key, but naturally is what makes it work. Yeah. So the intention and the belief is in the subconscious mind. It's not in that I have to believe that magic works. So that's kind of, I guess, separating the subject of magic from the actual doing of magic. It's the belief that you are already in that car. That's the belief. And the belief that your intention is already real. That's where the belief is. And what happens with the subconscious mind is that when it starts to believe something, because it can't tell the difference between what's real and what's imagined. So if you're imagining that you're at the beach and it's a nice, warm, sunny day, and the sun is shining and you're sitting on the sand and you're feeling the sand, you can really take yourself into that belief on an imaginary level that you're feeling the grains of the sand and you're smelling the salt coming off the water and you're feeling the warmth of the sun on on your skin, and you can actually imagine that you're there through all of your senses even when you're not necessarily physically there. And so when I teach magic in the Mystery Witch School 101 course, which is a course that I have on Wicca and magic and witchcraft essentially, I teach about using all of your senses when you're doing your spell so that your subconscious mind believes that it's already happening, it's already there. And when that starts to happen, your subconscious mind is going to turn on the reticular activating system. And that reticular activating system, which is a part of your brain, is going to start looking for the reality of what it is that you've experienced through that imagination and using your subconscious mind. And so you're going to start seeing things that relate to that. So, again, going back to the car analogy, if you're wanting that car, your reticular activating system is going to start showing you that car. You're going to start seeing that car everywhere or that type of car everywhere. And that turns you on then also to opportunities that could be around for you to get that car. Or if you're imagining yourself at the beach, you may find you end up actually at the beach. Maybe everyone's going to end up at the beach by the end of the week. But it's it's that belief, the subconscious belief that it's already happening, that is where the belief is. So that's, I guess, something that I wanted to talk about today. Okay, these wise cards, live tarot readings, and I Ching. What an interesting topic. Well, yeah, it is an interesting topic. Engaging all the senses. Must you believe in a god to make magic work? No, you don't have to believe in a god. Magic doesn't require belief in deity. All it requires is that you believe that you're already experiencing what it is that you want to experience. And that's really all it requires. Many people work with deities, work with spirits, of course. It's pretty common for people to do that, but it's not necessary. As we know, there are traditional witches that don't work with deity. They don't have deity. It's not part of their tradition or their belief system, and they still practice magic. Magic is practical. It's a practical thing. It's not necessarily, although it can be, it's not always a spiritual thing. So it's something that we have the capacity to do because we're creative beings and we're magical beings. And we actually came here to create uh, our experiences and have those experiences. But all of this knowledge about our ability to create our experiences has been suppressed and taken away from us. And we've seen that through the history of various different religions that have done that and assigned all of these omnipotent uh, powers and all of this creativity to a god rather than us also being manifestations of this divine force, which means that we have the ability to be able to also create with the greater consciousness, with the deities. If you're working with deities, or if you're working with a god, then you can co-create with that. But you don't need to believe in one in order to do magic. There's if you look at a lot of the law of attraction, even though law of attraction tends to be quite popular in the Christian communities, there are many non-Christians that also practice law of attraction. And Buddhism, for example, is they don't have gods as such, like they don't have a god. And magic is rife throughout the Buddhist traditions too. So, yeah, you don't need to believe in a god. Do you differentiate between magic and manifestation? No, I don't, because they're kind of the same thing. When you're doing magic, you are manifesting. And when you're manifesting, you're actually doing magic. It's just more the way that we see our beliefs about magic come, of course, from our upbringing and from our culture. So we tend to see magic as being something that we've assumed it to be because we've been told that's what it is. And then another thing comes along which uses pretty much the same principles as magic, maybe in a different way, and but it still has the same result. It's still using the similar processes. You can do magic in exactly the same way you would apply a law of attraction or manifestation, and you can use law of attraction and manifestation techniques within a traditional, sort of more traditional kind of magical spell, but they really are the same thing. It's just that they're different methodologies or different processes um, that you can use to manifest. That's kind of how I see the two. We're all different, and we all have values and priorities and things that we like to do and things that connect us more with our intentions. And some people are more hands on and really love doing spell work where they can really get into making things, get into the herbs, get into the oils. And the whole feeling of the wish fulfilled actually happens while they're getting into the spellcraft and doing the spellcraft and preparing all of the spells. So, on that psychological level and on a level of correspondence to your intent, for a lot of people, getting in and doing that magic is really part of that law of attraction energy. For other people who may be more heady or just aren't so much into getting in and doing things, you can use mental magic processes where you're not even having to do anything with your hands. You're totally using mind magic to manifest and to do magic. So there's kind of like a different type of magical technique for every person and every style of you. So it's very, very flexible magic. Uh, does a Wiccan have to do magic to be Wiccan? Can a Wiccan just celebrate the Sabbats and connect to the god and goddess? Absolutely. You don't have to practice magic to be Wiccan. There's the only uh, it's not even really a rule. It's kind of the convention in Wicca is to try not to harm anybody in whatever it is that you do. And that's probably pretty much a staple for most spiritual traditions is, you try not to do any harm. Uh, that's really but if you wanna practice magic, I mean, most Wiccans do practice magic. It's associated with witchcraft, which is the practice of magic. But a lot in modern day, there are Wiccans that don't care much for practicing magic. So, no, you don't have to practice magic. I certainly see it as part of my practice, but, it's not necessary. The more you understand your part and your role in being a co-creator with the universe, to use the more new agey terminology, the less magic you necessarily need to do in the sense of formal magic or, doing a spell. You may start to find that the more you have connected with your true desires and your true values, the more you're connected to your sense of self, the stronger you are in your sense of self, that the magic starts to happen almost by itself because we are perpetually creating our reality through how we feel in the moment. So we are always doing magic in a way. We're just not always necessarily consciously doing magic. Our whatever we believe, wherever we believe we are, is emotionally where we are. And the magic is about changing that. So emotionally where we want to be rather than where we perceive ourselves to be. We live in a simulation, really. The universe we live in is holographic. It's not a tangible reality, although we see it that way. And we start to see everything as energy. We start to see that we have a lot more ability to be able to maybe steer the ship than we have been told that we have by those institutions that would prefer to keep us naive and under their thumb rather than us knowing the truth of our being. Once upon a time, we knew who we were and we knew what we were doing here. And it's been hidden from us. And I think it's becoming more and more revealed these days. Okay. Just gonna wait. If you do use deities, do you find that, at least for you, the results of your magic rituals are increased? Yes and no. Not really. I don't think it makes so much of a difference necessarily on the outcome if I work with deities. I think it's just that for me, it's the connection with the deity. So it makes it more powerful for me when I'm doing the spell, when I'm working with a deity, because I feel like I'm working with another on on the goal. And I guess it depends actually on some things. I'll have to admit there are some workings where I have found that working with Hecate, for example, has helped tremendously rather than doing a more traditional kind of magic spell that doesn't involve working with deity. So sometimes it does help to work with deity. Other times it doesn't. I think it just depends on what type of magic you're doing and how confident you are with maybe your own doing it on your own without the help of a deity. Necessary you feel it is to actually get divine assistance with what it is you're doing, because sometimes you do need that extra bit of push or with a spell to work with another being. But different people have different experiences with that. Okay, do you believe or what are your thoughts on potential negative side effects after we do magical rituals? Do other areas of our life get worse when we try to manipulate our reality? No, it doesn't have to be that way. That's, I guess, one of the myths. There's the kind of a myth that sort of says that everything has to sort of balance out. So if you get too much of a good thing, then the bad thing has to happen to sort of balance it out. And I find that it depends, of course, on what sort of magic you're doing, of course. If you're doing magic that is productive and I guess helpful rather than harmful, then you should be finding that it shouldn't be affecting your life negatively in any way. Uh, unf We do tend to what we put out does come back. It does get mirrored back to us, and this is something that's been experimented with. I believe Joe Dispenza's recently experimenting with this too, as well as Lynn McTaggart has experimented with this through the intention experiments, where they have done experiments to see whether there is any spill from sending out, and this is them just working with intention, not working with the full on magic, but just the intention side of it. And they found that there is spill from what we put out. There is a spill that comes back to us. So if you're putting a lot of traditional witches and magicians, if they are doing anything harmful, generally will do something to protect themselves from that happening. Um, Thank you for so much sharing your experiences. Not a problem. So yes, that's I think too the belief this what scares people with magic where people go, "Oh no, you shouldn't practice magic because bad things will happen because you're manipulating things," is a bit of a myth to stop us from practicing magic and to stop us from being able to step into our ability as co-creators. It's understanding truly what it is you really want to is really important. So if you know what you really want, it's more likely to come to you because our values are our priority. When we value things, those things are easier for us to be able to manifest. And sometimes we'll do magic for things we don't really, really want. It's more that we think we need it or we think we should want it. And sometimes that can be a block to magic working at all, or it doesn't work very well. And if there's any guilt or shame around what it is that you're wanting to manifest or that you're wanting to bring into your reality, then you may find that subconsciously that may be sabotaged by the subconscious and by your behavior. So there's all sorts of different factors that can affect the outcome of magic, and a lot of it comes down to us and our how we feel and what we believe about ourselves and the world around us. Magic is very much an internal thing. It's being promoted in the world as being an external thing where we're constantly trying to change the world around us and manipulate the world around us. But the real magic happens inside of ourselves. It's the work we do on ourselves, and particularly the inner work of discovering who we truly are and healing those parts of ourselves that are wounded from a psychological point of view or energetic point of view, and working on what we call shadow work. I prefer to really call it inner work these days because shadow work kind of has a bit of a misunderstanding around it. It's really diving into who we truly are and what our beliefs about ourselves and the world are, where they came from, and are they true? And our emotional state is what creates our reality, and they also what how we perceive things. So when we learn to understand ourselves and have that know thyself, that esoteric know thyself, is about knowing what our values are and what we truly, truly want in our life, and being able to focus on that as being the outcome for the magic rather than something that we only think we need or think we want or been told that we should want. Okay, merry meet, Swak fan. I had to find an affordable house. I could only visualize me finding a 650 euros month home. I couldn't believe I could find a cheaper one. I ended up manifesting exactly a 650 house. Yes. So that's because that was what you were working on, was that number of the 650. Yeah. So sometimes it's good to work with an exact number, uh, because your subconscious mind could get fixated with that as well. Sometimes it's good to not necessarily have an amount. It really just depends. It's a trial and error thing. Yeah, but it's a good example of that. And your subconscious mind would have helped you out there too. You probably would have been more aware of the houses that were going for 650 euros. So they probably all started to appear. Um, To you? I don't know if that happened. I wanted a cheaper one, but I really didn't believe it. Yeah, the 650 number didn't leave my mind. Yeah, so you found exactly what it is that you were focusing on. And that's it. That is it. So the belief needs to be there, but it's the belief of the subconscious. And the belief in magic itself or law of attraction itself isn't necessary because it will happen anyway, whether you believe in it or not. And that's happened in the past to people who have tried it and been a bit skeptical, but they actually did it properly and it happened. And so they believed after that that magic is possible. So it really is about your belief in your experience of the wish fulfilled and practicing that on a daily basis so that you get used to doing it. It can be just practicing on little things, maybe what you want to get done that day and being in the wish fulfilled of having done that thing. Like maybe you'd like to try to go drive somewhere with green traffic lights all the way, so you could try working with something simple like that and see how that works out. Just practicing small things to get a sense of how it feels to feel into the wish fulfilled when you're doing the magic. And whenever you think of your magic, which you're going to do until the event happens or the wish becomes in 3D, to feel into the wish fulfilled. And manifestation, as far as timing is concerned, can happen really fast or it can take its time. And a lot of that depends on how easy it is for you to be clear about what it is that you want and how easy it is for you to feel into having already being experiencing it and being able to stay when you remember in that feeling of the wish already being fulfilled. Okay. It was really a miracle that I was able to find a cheap house, though, in my area. I really started to believe in manifestation at that time. Awesome. Pleased to find you live. Hi, Joy. So, is this your normal time slot, weekly or monthly? This isn't my normal time slot. I normally do it on a Monday, but we had a public holiday yesterday. So that's why I'm doing it today, which is Tuesday where I am. I'm in Australia. So it is Tuesday morning here. Whereas if you're in the US, it's probably Monday evening or late afternoon or something. Hello from Michigan. Okay. 2 months to manifest the house. That's good. That's good timing. 8 PM. Awesome. Yeah, 8 PM there. Okay. So I didn't necessarily long live. I wanted to make it pretty short compared to lives. Lives often go a little bit too long. I thank you everybody too. 7 p.m. Okay, so it's 7 p.m. in Minnesota. Awesome. So thank you everybody for supporting the channel too. If you're watching the replay or you're new to the live, do remember to hit the subscribe button and to leave any comments, your own experiences. Love to hear your own experiences of magic that you've had and what got you believing in magic. Where did that belief in magic come from? Is it something you had your whole life? Or is it something that came later in life? Were you skeptical at first? and then had an experience that changed your mind? Or are you still skeptical? Are you watching the video because you're still skeptical and you still don't believe in magic? That's fine too. I just love to hear what everyone's experiences are in regards to your magical journey. I always believed in magic. I think I was born believing in magic, probably from past lives, I suspect. And it was really a case of understanding what magic was and knowing how to work with it. I've learned a lot about magic and how fickle it can kind of be, in the sense that some magic is easy to manifest, other magic isn't. And that's all comes down to me. It's actually me that's in the way of the magic when it doesn't work. It's either I'm not being realistic, or I'm inside my own psyche, I'm not uh, really able to get into that feeling of the wish fulfilled and the confidence that it's already happened. And I think the belief thing is that you kind of do have to be confidently believing it's already happened in order for it to happen. And some magic's easy for me to do that with, and other types of magic isn't. And I think a lot of us sometimes find that you might be good at manifesting some things, but other things are a little bit of a struggle. And when you go and you do your soul searching within yourself and you look within yourself and maybe your beliefs about yourself and the whatever it is that you're looking for, there's an incongruence there between your goal and your true belief that it could actually really be, that there's that it's really something that you could experience. And that's where the shadow work comes in, to help heal that and to help you start to step into the fact that there's no one out there that doesn't want you to have what it is that you want. There's no spiritual force there going, no, you're not allowed to have it. It's bad to have it. It's bad to want it. There's none of that. Now, that's all lies. It's you really can we're here to manifest, we're here to create, and we could be creating heaven on earth, if we really truly knew the power that we have. But instead, look what we're creating. And it's not saying that we are necessarily creating it, but when you look at the world at large and humanity at large, look what we're creating right now. It's an utter mess. And we have the ability to change that. We don't have to keep doing that. But most people don't know that they even have the ability to change, or how to change, or have the desire to actually do the inner work to help that change even more. So think of magic as working with yourself, and even the changes you may have to make within your own beliefs about yourself and the world around you, uh, dealing with any guilt or any shame or any spiritual beliefs about how it's wrong to want certain things or to want to experience certain things, such as, a comfortable life where you have the money to do whatever it is that you do want to do, and have the things that you want to have without necessarily having to worry about not having them, or not having the security of finance in your life, for example, because that's one of the biggest lies of spirituality, is the law of the lies around money. And it's just understanding that we do live in an abundant universe, and it's really ourselves that we have to work on to change that. And the universe will give you signs too when your magic is starting to work, or it'll give you little crumbs to help you take each step closer to your magic, particularly if it's a big goal that you're after. To listen to your intuition, listen to your guidance, trust your higher self and its ability to bring into reality what it is that you want, and just keep chipping away at yourself. And the magic does happen. Okay. I'm just going to go back up here a bit because I think it scrolled ahead. Um, okay. Okay. Lady Bless. I don't know if we need. Okay. Why it doesn't work so easily for some goals. Yeah, it's our beliefs about ourselves and the goal. That's where the shadow work comes in. That's where we can go, okay, obviously have a bit of a blockage here with this thing. What is it? And you may find it's not necessarily even the thing. It could be other beliefs that you have about your capability, or maybe there's a little bit of feeling of shame or guilt or something there that's stopping you from maybe being able to step into the you that would experience that thing. Because whenever we bring something into our manifestation, we have to be the person that has it. So if you're wanting a particular type of car, you have to be the type of person that drives that car. So you have to look for that person within yourself and go, well, what would that person be doing? And how would that person be feeling in that car? So it's changing us, and the magic changes us too. And we kind of have to change ourselves first before the magic can kind of happen. And so magic that's easy to manifest is magic where we already feel confident as that person. And the magic that's harder to manifest is where we don't feel so confident as that person. And these experiments have been done a lot with Joe Dispenza. He's done a lot of work around you have to change yourself and be the person that has the thing or has the whatever it is you're trying to manifest. And he's done a lot of experimentation around that. Um, Hi, Goblin Historian. Okay, thank you for your guidance. I'm fairly new to the path after ignoring over 40 years of signs. Been bumming around in the dark. Provide a bit of light. Oh, awesome. Thank you. Um, the more goals we're about to manifest, the more confident we are in our manifestation abilities and the better we get. Absolutely. Yeah. Okay, thank you for your guidance. Oh, I think I read that one again. Listening to you speak, I can feel the invisible shackles on my head break. Thank you for your knowledge. It's truly a pleasure. Awesome. Those shackles, yes. I know what you mean by that. It's an interesting metaphor, shackles. My metaphor for me was like I was in an egg and I had to crack out of the egg. And that took a while. Constant self-destructive movement around me at all times, but centered simple magic does further me trying to stay at a higher magic until needed. Yeah, simple magic doesn't have to be complicated. It can be as simple as you want it to be. We are magical beings, and some people love the complexity of various different types of magic, and other people don't care for it and prefer something more simple. Other times people are moody. Sometimes you might be in the mood for something more complex. Other times you might not be. So it's just allowing yourself to go with what feels good for you to use as your magical manifestation. So for example, if you want to work with a deity because you feel that that would really help you, then work with the deity. If you feel that it's just something you don't really need to work with a deity with, then don't work with them. Just do it on your own. Okay, genius is 1%. Inspiration, 99. Perspiration. Is magic a similar thing? To some degree, it is because you do have to put an effort in to make things manifest. So you have to put effort into doing the intention work in the first place or the spell work in the first place. And you've also got to put the intention into changing your beliefs about yourself if it's clashing with what it is that you want, and that is a lot of work. That can take years of work to do. And of course, you've got to put things into action on the material plane too. So that means that you need to take action on your intention to make it happen. It's not just going to turn up, necessarily on your front doorstep. You might have to actually do stuff in order to bring the manifestation into reality, depending on what it is. So yes, you do have to put in the effort. You do have to put in the work. Absolutely, it's rare, and it does happen. It's not saying it doesn't happen. It does happen where things are miraculous, like they just almost fall from the sky. But that tends to be not the norm. It tends to be more of an exception. Okay. Okay, then. So, thank you everybody for coming along for today's live. I will be doing another live next week. For those of you who are interested in learning witchcraft with me, I have the magical witch school. Sorry, mystery witch school. I don't even know who I am. The Mystery Witch School 101 Academy. It is a 12-month course in. It's a Wiccan style of witchcraft, but it's eclectic. It's not filling into that sort of traditional hierarchical degree sort of aspect. It is really just more working with the moon, working with the Sabbats, and learning magic, and also the work on energy work, working with tools, creating circle, all that sort of basic Wiccan training that you can put into any style of witchcraft that you are interested in. So I'll put the link is in the description field below this video if you're watching the replay, and I will put the link in the chat as well for those of you who are interested in looking at it in the chat. And next week, I'm not sure what the topic's going to be, but it'll be on the Monday in Australian time. So if you are in the US, it'll be the Sunday evening next week, will it? Yes, it will be Sunday evening US time next week. Okay, so thank you very much. Blessed be. And I will see you on other videos throughout the week.